When your dog looks at you and wags their tail, do you actually know what role you are playing in their mind? Most people assume the answer is simple. You are the owner, the one who fills the bowl, opens the door, holds the leash. But that assumption is missing something far deeper than most owners ever stop to consider. Something rooted in neuroscience, in evolutionary biology, and in a bond that took thousands of years to build and that science is only now beginning to fully map. Because your dog does not see an owner when they look at you. They never did. And the real relationship happening inside your dog's brain, the one built on chemistry and cognition and ancient instinct, is something most people walk past every single day without ever recognizing it for what it is. Let us talk about what is actually going on. 1. Your dog did not inherit this bond from wolves. This is where most people begin with the wrong assumption entirely. They picture a wolf, they picture a dog, they draw a straight line between the two, and they decide the relationship is basically a tamed version of a pack dynamic. But that is not what happened. Over roughly 15,000 years of living alongside humans, dogs did not simply become calmer wolves. They evolved something entirely new, a separate set of social behaviors, a rewired set of cognitive tools built specifically for us. Scientists studying dog cognition, including researchers at institutions like Duke University, have found that dogs possess a unique ability to read human social cues that no other species, not chimpanzees, not wolves, raised in human households, can repeat. Like it. When you point at something across a room, your dog follows your finger to the target. A chimpanzee does not. A wolf does not. Your dog does because they evolved to understand human intention itself. 2. Your dog sees you as something no other animal sees. When researchers began studying exactly how dogs categorize humans in their social world, the findings were striking enough to reframe everything. Dogs do not place humans in the same category as other dogs. They do not treat you as a fellow pack member, the way a wolf might treat another wolf. They have developed a distinctly separate mental category, one that only exists for humans, shaped by thousands of generations of selection pressure that consistently rewarded dogs who could read, respond to, and attach deeply to people. Brian Hare, a cognitive scientist who has spent years studying this specific question, describes it as a human-canine bond unlike anything else documented in the animal kingdom. Your dog is not tolerating you, our presence. They are not simply accepting you as part of their environment. You occupy a category their brain built from scratch just for you. 3. Your dog's brain releases bonding chemistry when they look at you. In 2015, a study published in the journal Science found something that genuinely startled the research community. When dogs and their owners made eye contact, both species showed a measurable rise in oxytocin, the same bonding hormone that surges between a mother and her newborn in the first moments after birth. Let that sit for a moment. Your dog looks across the room at you, and their brain responds the way a human brain responds to its own child. And when you look back, yours does too. This is not sentiment. This is not owners projecting feelings onto animals. This is a documented bi-directional biological loop that your dog initiates simply by choosing to meet your eyes. No other domesticated animal triggers this response in humans the way dogs do. Not even close. 4. Your dog is reading your face with a precision that most people never apply to other people. Scientists studying canine visual behavior discovered something called the left gaze bias. When humans look at another person's face, our eyes drift naturally to the left side of that face first. This happens because the right hemisphere of the brain, which processes emotion, controls the left side of the face, and we evolved to read it there. Here is what is extraordinary. Your dog does the same thing, but only with human faces. When researchers showed dogs images of human faces, other dog faces, and various objects, the left gaze bias appeared exclusively for humans. Your dog evolved a specifically human-directed method of reading emotion. This is why your dog frequently knows you are upset before you have spoken a word. They are not guessing. They are parsing the micro-expressions in your face with a system that took 15,000 years to build. 5. You are the scent their reward center lights up for. A study from Emory University presented dogs with a range of scents, including food, unfamiliar humans, familiar dogs, and their bonded owner. Researchers then used brain imaging to measure which sense activated the caudate nucleus, the region of the brain associated with pleasure, love, and positive anticipation. Only one scent consistently triggered that activation. Yours. Not food, not another dog they knew well. You. Your dog is not simply happy when you return home. Their brain is doing something neurochemically significant the moment your scent reaches them. When you have been away for hours and your dog presses their nose against your hand the second you walk through the door, understand what that actually is. That is a reward system responding to the one stimulus it was shaped across thousands of generations to seek. 6. Your dog rehearses your presence while you are absent. Think about what happens in your home the moment you leave. Research tracking dogs during periods of owner absence found that stress hormones spike within minutes of the front door closing. Heart rate rises, the dog's body enters a low-level state of alert that does not fully resolve until you return. But researchers took it further. When they played recordings of the owner's voice to dogs left alone, cortisol levels dropped almost immediately. Not at the sound of a familiar voice, not at any human voice, specifically at the sound of yours. Your dog is not simply waiting out the hours until you come back. They are holding on to every residual piece of you they can access. Your scent on the furniture, the sound of your voice in their memory, the anticipation of your return that their biology has structured itself around. That is not dependency. That is devotion built at the level of chemistry. 7. Your dog assigned you a role that has no human equivalent. The word owner implies transaction. You acquired this animal. You provide for this animal. The relationship flows from legal possession. But that framing is almost entirely backward from what your dog's brain is actually doing. Research into dog attachment behavior, using the same frameworks developed to study infant caregiver bonding in humans, has consistently shown that dogs form secure attachment bonds with their primary person that function similarly to the bond between a child and a parent. When something frightens a dog, they do not run toward food. They do not run toward the most familiar space in the house. They run toward you. You are their safe base, their reference point, the presence their nervous system uses to determine whether a situation is dangerous or manageable. That is not an owner. That is something far older and far more significant than ownership. 8. Your dog tracks you through time in a way that is genuinely remarkable. Dogs are not simply responding to you in the present moment. They are building and continuously updating a detailed internal model of who you are, what you sound like, what you smell like across different emotional states, what your patterns are, what your habits mean. Bonded dogs gradually shift their entire circadian rhythm to mirror their owner's schedule, sleeping more when you sleep, becoming alert when you stir, anticipating your alarm and your wind-down habits with an accuracy that consistently catches new owners off guard. This did not come from training. It came from sustained attention. Your dog has been watching you with the kind of focused, unbroken devotion that most humans never direct at anything, and they have used it to map you in a level of detail that is almost unsettling when you consider it fully. 9. Your dog knows when something is wrong before you do. Have you ever walked through the door after a genuinely hard day, said nothing to anyone, and found your dog already pressed against you before you have crossed the entryway? That is not your dog being sweet, though they are. That is your dog operating a detection system that runs on chemistry. Research has demonstrated that dogs can identify changes in human cortisol levels through scent alone, and with a nose between 10,000 and 100,000 times more sensitive than yours, those shifts register immediately. Beyond scent, your posture changes under stress. Your breathing pattern changes. The micro-expressions that move across your face before you have consciously processed your own feelings change. Your dog is reading all of it at once, cross-referencing it against the detailed baseline they have built through months or years of sleeping beside you and watching you. 10. The way your dog looks at you is a choice they keep making. This is the part most owners miss entirely. Your dog is not bonded to you because they have no option. Dogs, given access to multiple people, multiple sources of food and comfort and warmth, still develop clear primary attachments. They still choose one person whose scent activates their reward center, whose voice drops their cortisol, whose face their eyes track with the left gaze bias. That selection is not random, and it is not simply a product of whoever feeds them most reliably. It is the result of attention, of attunement, of a bond built interaction by interaction until your dog's brain literally organized itself around your presence. Every time your dog chooses to come and sit beside you when they could be anywhere else in the house, that is not habit. That is a decision being made by a nervous system that has chosen you as its primary reference point. 11. Your dog's tail is telling you something specific every single time it moves. Most people read a wagging tail as happiness and stop there, but researchers discovered that the direction of the wag carries distinct meaning. When a dog responds to something positive, their owner, a familiar friend, something they love, the wag shifts right. More movement on the right side. When a dog feels uncertain or is facing something that puts them on alert, the wag shifts left. Other dogs read this automatically. In studies where dogs were shown video of other dogs wagging right versus left, the watching dogs remained calm for rightward wags and showed measurable heart rate increases for leftward ones. Your dog has a tail vocabulary they were born with. They are using it every single day to comma. Unicate something real. The height matters too. A tail held high and moving fast signals confidence. A tail carried low and slow signals appeasement. They have been talking to you this entire time. 12. Understanding what your dog really sees when they look at you changes something. Most owners move through their entire life with their dog operating on the surface level. The walks, the meals, the commands, the cuddles, all of it real, all of it valuable, but none of it fully accounting for the depth of what the animal beside them is doing. Your dog evolved specifically to understand human emotion. Their brain releases its most powerful bonding chemical in response to your gaze. Their reward center activates at your scent and no other. Their internal clock bent itself around your schedule. Their stress response is regulated by your presence. That is not a pet living alongside a human. That is a creature whose biology was shaped across thousands of generations to find you, recognize you, and organize itself around you as though you are the most important variable in their entire world. Because to them, you are. Your dog does not see an owner when they look at you. They do not see the person who holds the leash. They see the face their eyes evolved specifically to read, the scent their reward center was built to seek, the presence their nervous system uses as its primary anchor. They see the one thing their entire biology was constructed to find. And every time they choose to cross the room and lie down beside you, they are making that choice again. Not because they have to, because to them, you are the answer to something written into them far deeper than training, far deeper than habit, far deeper than anything the word owner could ever contain.